Welcome to Mackey Arena. Travis Carroll's used to that, but Brian Newbert is as well. But welcome to you. This is kind of a new location for us. First time I think we've been in the actual facility where Purdue plays men's basketball and women's basketball. But great to be here, and great thanks to the staff and all those at Channel 18 also that helped put this together. Yes, our guests, Travis Carroll, Brian Newbert. Our sponsors, Hilton Garden Inn, when tomorrow's a big day, State HDI tonight, and of course State Farm agent Trent Johnson, TrentAsMyAgent.com, Hilton Garden Inn, I've already said that one I think, when tomorrow's a big day, State HDI tonight, and I'll say it again. And of course John Basham, who will join us in segment 3. That will be interesting by definition, I'm certain. And Triple X on the hill, but on the level of Purdue tradition since 1929. Travis, it seems like it's been since 1929 since you've been here. That really is true. It's gone by, for us, 4 years pretty quickly. For you, the same?
Yeah, very quick. I mean, I feel like blink of an eye, and I'm here now, about to graduate. So it's kind of weird, but it's a good feeling to be done with college. So
you're not done yet. You have exams and things like
that.
Yeah,
yeah, I got a couple more classes, but I'm pretty much done. I think I'm only taking 2 classes right now, because I've made myself become so ahead during the summer. So right now I'm just kind of hanging out, looking for stuff to do. I got nothing to do anymore. So
it's a good problem to have.
Take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah, I know.
When you look back on your Purdue career in 25 years, what's the first thing that's gonna come to mind?
Probably the thing that I probably miss the most that I've noticed is probably just like the locker room environment. I mean, that's I've talked to other athletes who have finished their careers, and they say, you know, the one thing you'll miss the most is just being around like the group of guys all the time in the locker room. That's one thing that, you know, it's. I mean, I have a lot of fun in the locker room, love the guys, so that's one thing I'll probably miss the most. Yeah.
Now, how this show works too is, if you haven't figured out, I have my iPad, and Allie back at the station is IMing me questions. So if you have questions in the chat room, by all means ask. And we'll filter the heck out of them and then ask them to Travis. No, we'll ask questions as you come, and certainly feel free to do that. But Travis, obviously I can remember watching you in high school in here and playing for Danville High School and the opportunity to play in this building. But how great is this in terms of a home court? You know, we sit on this facility, we take it for granted because we've been around it, but this is a great venue for college basketball.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I haven't been here in a couple of weeks. I just walked in a little bit ago, and I'm still amazed how awesome this place is. I mean, I love this place, especially with the fans when they fill this place up. There's no place like it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you have a chance when you have the chance to play at home and become a crowd favorite, which you did this year. Certainly, you seem to be kind of a shy, you know, good, upstanding young person. But what was that like to kind of become a favorite late in your career?
It was pretty cool. I mean, you know, just running in and out of the game, you know, I'd be playing my 1 or 2 minutes and coming out here and the crowd yell for me and stuff. I'm like, holy cow, did I do anything to deserve that? But it's still pretty cool. I mean, it's awesome having people like me, I guess. So it's an honor to have, you know, people cheer for me like that and become a favorite.
Yeah. What about at the end of games sometimes when people want you to shoot 25-foot three-pointers? You just like, shut up, people, I'm not shooting.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I get 1 or 2 minutes, so I wanted to keep those 1 or 2 minutes at a time, so I didn't want to shoot any long threes and lose all my minutes. So.
Now, do you have all yours? I mean, in the world of video, where you can get everything now, probably on the internet in terms of what your game films and game tapes, but you've got those 2 threes that you hit this year forever, someplace safe that you can show your kids and your grandkids.
Yeah, the Northwestern one on senior night was pretty cool because you know, 15 foot is pretty much my range. I shot it and I ran down the court. I see the ref put his hands up. I'm like, holy cow, I just hit a 3. So I'm like, extra point, that works for me. So it was kind of cool.
It was in your range, absolutely.
Matt Painter said late in the season, when we were asking about, you know, what these seniors meant to the program, he called you one of the best leaders he's had in 10 years at Purdue. What made you such a good leader, and what did that mean to you to hear your coach say that about you?
You know, being a good leader, you just have to do everything on and off the court and just give everything you got. You got to give yourself the team, which it sounds very easy, but it's not an easy thing. You got to give yourself the team. You got to handle yourself off the court, in the classroom. You know, in college when you're living alone, your first year as a freshman, it's tough. I mean, you got to do a lot of adjusting, but it's just how you adjust and how you act. Then just giving yourself 100% to the team all the time. And that's, I guess that's all I did. So I guess it worked out for me pretty well.
I think I asked you this question late in the season, but when Matt Painter talked about you, he talked about, you were valuable to the program because you did what you're supposed to do, you were a good kid, and you tried hard, and you cared. And I guess the question is, why can't everybody do that? I know you're not a psychologist or anything like that, but it seems so easy.
Yeah, it seems very easy. Luckily, I guess it's kind of how my mom and dad raised me, just being very unselfish, just giving yourself, trying as hard as you can, no matter what you do, just being unselfish. And, I'm happy for other guys who play ahead of me, which is perfectly fine. My whole purpose to come here is to win games. So if I'm not out there playing, it's cool. I just want to win, so.
I've got a question from Billy asking about, this is going to make you blush, but you seem to be the most knowledgeable player on the team as to where to be and what to do while on the court. Do you agree with that assessment?
Oh, wow. I don't want to dog my teammates, but yeah,
why not now?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. For my future, I want to go into coaching, so I guess that's kind of important for me, kind of taking steps. And, being a player is valuable because you get to learn, obviously, from Coach Painter, who's one of the greatest coaches in the country. So just being able to learn, and, I learned from him, so that helped me on the court, yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Perfect segue. I know today you have your first practice as an AAU coach, working for Indiana AAU institution, Jim Reamer's new Under Armour program. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to get into coaching? I mean, it seems like, I think Painter said at one point this year that he'd take any player who says, I want to be a coach, and tell him not to be a coach. Mm-hmm. Just how come you want to be a coach?
I've said this a couple of times. It was a couple of times throughout my career where he's mentioned that, this basketball is his passion. He wouldn't want to do anything else besides basketball. And, I'm kind of the same way. I love basketball. Unfortunately, my playing career is over, so I'm going to do the next best thing, and that's coaching. And I love this sport, so why not be around it?
Yeah, that makes sense from that standpoint. What did you learn? You've had a really interesting career. It may be the last 2 years, not wins and losses the way you wanted, but you started out with a leadership group that was the big three. Though Robbie obviously got hurt in your freshman year, and you had Etuan and Jawan on down the line. But what did you learn from those three guys from a leadership standpoint that maybe helped you heading into your final 2 years?
Those are guys who would be in and out the gym all throughout the day. Then we'd be practicing, they'd be competitive, going 100% in practice all the time, just never taking a day off. Those are all Americans doing, all the little things that, you're supposed to do. And, that just, for me as a freshman, I'm like, wow, they have what it takes to win. They're all Americans. I might as well try to follow that path, do what they're doing.
It seemed like something, just to go back to coaching real quick, you were always very fundamentally sound, always good with, the ball in your hands, relatively good feet. You always, obviously boxed out the way you're supposed to. You always made plays for others just with the way you, played your floor game, what have you. Is that something you feel like maybe you can pass on to players too?
Yeah, I feel like in basketball these days, I've been kind of out of the high school circuit for about 4 years now or whatever, but, I feel like a lot of people are just worried about their points, their statistics, on trying to make it to college, They think if I have a lot of points this game, college is going to recruit me, but, you also need to, win games, you need to play as a team player. No coach is going to want somebody who's going to be shooting all the time, scoring 20 points off 20 shots, that's not what they're looking for. So, being a team player, I think, is a very, very good thing for a coach to get. I think that's something that I can pass to my teammates or my team that I'm coaching. Yeah.
You seem to take a lot of pride, or really sort of embrace that role this year of being sort of AJ and Jay's foil in practice, really trying to push those guys and whatnot. Did you almost feel like you were kind of a coach to those guys, or trying to be a little bit of a coach to those guys?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's for me, I think it was a good, I don't know how to say it, maybe a happy meeting between the coaches and a player for me to help AJ out. Because he's good, but he has his struggles also. I would just try to calm him down, be like, hey, listen, you got to do this a little bit better, instead of maybe the coach is going a little hard at him or whatever, I would go up to him as a player. I mean, as a friend also, and just being like, hey, listen, you need to do this. You know, I understand you didn't do that right, but next time do this and it'll work out better. So I think he listened to me, and you know, I think he'll be really successful, I think.
What's misunderstood about AJ? I mean, a lot of people look at him and they obviously see the world of talent, see the high points, see the low points. But what do you, just as a friend and then being around him as much, what are fans don't understand about a guy like AJ that you do?
You know, I feel like people don't think he cares as much as he does. You know, he doesn't have really strong emotions, but I mean, he cares. I mean, just look what he's done to his body the past year or 2 years he's been here. I mean, that just shows right there that he's worked, you know, in the eating, nutrition category and in the weight room, just working on his body, getting in shape, better shape, you know, working on his game. You know, I think he's improved some aspects, and you know, he's gotten stronger. I mean, I remember his freshman year, I was able to kind of push him around a little bit. He was just kind of a little chunky, and this year I was like, couldn't really move him at all. So that's just improvement. You know, he cares a lot, and you know, I think people don't see that as much as, you know, I do in the locker room and other people do. But I think that's one thing that they might miss. Yeah.
You ever seen the movie Bull Durham?
No.
Well, basically, it's about this minor league catcher who takes it upon himself. There's this kid with this world of talent, and he takes it upon himself, or he's hired to make this guy as good as he can possibly be. Did you kind of feel like you were trying to make AJ become what AJ can be one day?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, for anybody on a team, that should be your goal. No matter if you play or if you don't play, you should be trying to make whoever you're playing against better on your team. Because, you know, if you go, let's see, like if I'm going to AJ as hard as I can every single day, then AJ will be like, man, I need to go hard back at him. So it'll kind of, you know, get us both better, which I think is important for team, and to help your competitiveness on a team, and just help the whole, you know, team spirit, really.
You should see Bull Durham. It's really good.
It is good.
It's great.
It is good. Even though it's an old man's movie, it really isn't that old.
You're probably too young. I just like saying that to kids.
Yeah.
You're probably too young.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. You talk about Matt Painter being one of the best coaches and having that experience, but what makes it tough to play for him? I mean, what is the part that if you don't buy in makes it a challenge to play for a coach like Matt Painter?
Man, I mean, I was pretty bought in, so that's kind of see. I mean, I guess if you're not bought in, then he just kind of moves on, which as a player, you don't want your coach to kind of look the other way when you walk down the hall. I mean, you want to get noticed by him. So, I mean, if you're not bought in, I mean, this is on, off the court. This is everything. There's so many aspects of being a student athlete that people don't see. People just see us come out here playing in Mackey Arena on, you know, Saturday nights or whatever. But, you know, it's school, it's class, it's tutors, it's, you know, we got to get to breakfast early in the morning. We got to get to dinner after practice. You know, just handling everything, making sure our grades are good. You know, there's a lot of aspects, and it's difficult, you know, being a student athlete. So, you know, just being able to handle all those different aspects of being a student athlete, and that'll make it easier for you.
Yeah, and as a follow-up, your freshman and sophomore year, you know, you come in, every freshman that comes in, I think it's a function of that thing you're getting into, AAU basketball, but expectations and having to deal with that. You can relate to that because no matter what, you may never be as good, with rare exception of most players in the country, as people might think you were going to be as you come in. How do you tell kids now how to deal with that? Because that's a challenge for anybody.
I mean, wow, you just gotta be strong, you know, every day in practice. You know, just make sure that you do everything possibly that you can do to put yourself in the best situation possible. And, you know, that's, you know, if you're playing 10 minutes a game, you know, make those 10 minutes the best 10 minutes you can do, and that goes into preparing like you're gonna play 40 minutes. So, you know, preparation is big. You know, if you do everything that you're supposed to do, then you'll have no regrets. So, you know, I think it's just important to, you know, stay on task, don't get down, and just, you know, listen to the coaches, do what they say, and be pretty successful, I suppose.
Pick one game from your 4 years that'll really stand out to you.
Senior night was kind of special to me because that was probably my best game of the season. But Ohio State, my freshman year.
Everybody says that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like we were just like I don't know how much we won by, but I feel like we were up by 100 the whole game. I don't know why, but it was just an unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable feeling. Then also college game day.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really beat that, you know, especially beating Michigan State on college game day. That was pretty awesome. Seeing the fans here, 10, 11 in the morning, that was pretty awesome too. So.
Did that game as a freshman against Ohio State, you know, they always talked about Michael Jordan and players watching somebody. Etuan was so good that day, with 39 points and hitting shots from about where we're seated toward that basket. I mean, not quite, but you almost get to the point when you see a guy play. Was that as good a performance as anybody in your 4 years?
I mean, yeah. I mean, holy cow, Etuan could score from anywhere. I mean, he was unbelievable. He could create his own shot, and I mean, he's unbelievable. Him and Juwan together was, I mean, the combo was unbelievable. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen anybody better than that. You know, I think it was my senior year of high school when Rob hit all those threes against Ohio State. Also, that was pretty awesome too. But I actually wasn't here. I was at home watching it actually. Yeah. I remember that game too. So probably both those two performances are pretty spectacular. Yeah.
Some of those games you're talking about, your freshman, sophomore year, obviously a lot of big games you guys won at home. This place was obviously very alive, we'll say. Purdue was, you know, a ranked team competing for, you know, Big Ten championships. What's it going to take to get back there, and how far off is Purdue right now? Do you feel like?
I think there's a lot of hope. You know, with I mentioned this before with the sophomores that we have. I mean, we have two now.
Three.
What?
3 sophomores.
3.
2 juniors.
Yeah, 2 juniors.
And
Moving
100
ahead.
freshmen.
Yeah, and all the freshmen. You know, I think the freshmen are very important to us next year. You know, coming in here and just like I said, doing what it takes to win. You know, it's hard. You know, it's hard for a freshman to come in and you know, you might not play as much as you did in high school, but you know, just stay on task and you know, hopefully win some more games next year.
What has to happen for these next teams to kind of get that substance back that those first 2 teams you were on had?
You know, you just got to get everybody, you know, just do what they're supposed to. You know, like I said, it's very difficult for a student athlete. You know, on and off the court. You know, it's easy on the court because you're playing basketball. Then it's like school, like I said, school, nutrition, breakfast, all this stuff combined. You know, when you have distractions like that affecting you on the court, then that's you know, that's the problem.
Sounds like a job.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You know, you go back and we're obviously going to be watching, was it 2 Big Ten teams tonight, Michigan State and Michigan playing the NCAA tournament. What was that like? I mean, and how do you instill, I mean, that is the goal of any program, is to get to that tournament. You know, you had that in your first 2 years, and it leaves you, certainly I would guess would leave you that taste. I want to do that again. I mean, how do you put that into words of saying to these guys that come back, boy, this is something you don't want to miss in your college career?
I mean, that NCAA tournament's awesome. I mean, I don't know what makes it so cool. Like just walking out there for your practice, I think it's like a 45-minute practice, something like that, hour. I mean, that practice is awesome. You know, there's energy everywhere. There's just fans everywhere. I mean, it's awesome, you know, and, you know, we made it my first 2 years. We did it my last 2 years. And, you know, I think it's going to help me in the long run because, you know, I'm hungry to get back there. You know, being a coach, I think it's going to help me. You know, I know what it's like to be there. And, you know, I want to get back there, you know, ASAP.
Yeah.
So.
We talked a lot earlier about leadership. We have a question here on our chat. Purdue doesn't have very many experienced guys next year. Where's the leadership going to come from, do you think?
You know, I think Rayford Davis is gonna. I think he's he's a quiet guy, but I think he's a guy who's bought in, who does what he's supposed to all the time, and you know, I think he'll do very well next year. You know, he works really hard. And, you know, he seems quiet, but in the locker room and stuff, he's not afraid to say what he feels. So I think he'll be pretty good next year.
You just got a couple more minutes left with you, Travis. But on the 3 Big Ten teams left still in the tournament, 3 of the 12 left, as it turns out, with Wisconsin winning last night. Each of them are talented in their own ways. You know, you guys had a great shot at beating Michigan here. But take me through each of those 3 teams and what you like about them, and can any of the 3 win at all?
You know, Wisconsin looked unbelievable. You know, I'm very high on them because, you know, I think they're a very good defensive team, and they have very good structure on offense. If you watch them, you know, there's nobody just taking terrible shots. You know, they shoot what they can make. I think, you know, I mean, for teams that's difficult. I mean, it's as easy as it sounds. It's really difficult to do. I think that's what makes them successful, combined with defense. Michigan, you know, they got Stauskas, and you know, with Morgan and Horford down low, you know, combine those two guys, they're a all Big Ten player if you combine their stats.
Yeah.
So, you know, they got them. Then Michigan State. Man, I think they're going to do very well the rest of the tournament. I think in the Big Ten tournament, I think with the 5 starters, they've only played to this point, maybe 14 or 15 games together all season. So half the season they played together. So now they're finally healthy, back on track. You know, I think they're going to do really well. I think they're going to go all the way. So.
Yeah. I like them. You can't find a better performance than they put on the first half of the game here.
Yeah.
Certainly, still watching those threes roll in. Ryan, we got time for a couple more questions.
No, I was just going to say everybody likes Michigan State. I'm really like Wisconsin right now. The way they played last night was an absolute clinic. It reminded me of when Purdue played Baylor in the NCAA tournament in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago, where they just kicked their you-know-what from the outset. I mean, Wisconsin was almost clinical. Last night.
Kaminsky's unbelievable to me. I mean, he is turning into. I mean, we saw signs of that this year, but a guy that has really elevated his game.
Yeah,
he's a load.
Yeah, I mean, he's very difficult. You know, my junior year, he was kind of okay player. You know, they had Jared Bergeron there. You know, I think they do a very good job. You know, developing the big, tall guys. You know, able to shoot threes, drive to the basket, post up. I mean, that's difficult, especially in the Big Ten. You know, you got the big guys banging down low. But then when you have a 5-man who can go outside and then drive you to the basket when you're 7 foot, that's difficult to guard. I mean, so he's a really good player, and you know, his improvement the past year has been awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, Travis, thank you so much for the time, and always enjoy it. We'll have you back after you take your first college job.
Sounds good.
Awesome. We'll be awesome. That'll be next week. But and we'll look forward to Brian. We're going to shoo you off as well. But we'll bring Stacey Clarity and Tom Mitchell. We'll talk a little compliance, NCAA compliance. Tom, always an interesting guest. We'll look forward to doing that in segment 2. Stay tuned. We'll take a 2-minute break, and we'll join us back here on Gold and Black Live.